Hey everybody, this is Renee Millman at reneemillman.com. I'm so glad you're here to join me because it's Workout Wednesday. Today we're going to be stretching our quads and it's going to be great. So many times people have tight quads and it can affect other areas of the body when those muscles are in a tense position all the time. Now, all that you will need today is a yoga strap. If you don't have one, don't worry. You can get by without one by using a belt or a towel. Again, one of my goals in making these videos is to make yoga affordable and accessible for anyone to do at home or anywhere. Okay, so let's get started. But first, I have a question for you. What does this and this and this all have in common? Alright, so what all three of those poses have in common is that they're all stretching your quadriceps. That's the top of the thigh. Now, the first one I showed you, which is sort of like your very common runner stretch. It's a good stretch, but it's easy to cheat without realizing that you're cheating. The second one I showed you was a variation of half hero's pose. Great pose, but for some people it bothers their knees. The last one I showed you was half frog pose. And that's what I'm going to be showing you how to do today. Now, the reason why I love half frog pose is because you're laying on the floor on your belly and the floor prevents you from wiggling around and kind of cheating a little bit, not meaning to cheat, but because you're against the floor, it prevents your hips from going back and the quad not stretching as deeply as it could. Now, as I mentioned earlier, it's good to have a strap on hand if your quads are particularly tight. But if you don't have a strap, you can use a towel or a belt. And if you would like a recommendation for a strap or a mat, I will put links below this video that take you to my Amazon page with some great recommendations for straps you can check out. Now, one thing I want to mention is what I'm going to be showing you today is not the full expression of half frog pose. So if you are well versed in yoga or if you are a teacher yourself, you might recognize that what I'm showing you is not the full extent of half frog pose. I'm just going to be focusing on the quadricep part and omitting the shoulder and chest opener. More about that later, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about that part. So I'm going to show you how to do the pose and then I will show you how to do it with the strap. I think you're really going to like it. So let's get to it. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is come down onto your mat, laying on your stomach. Legs nice and long, you can feel your hips on the mat, and with your spine nice and extended, I'm balancing on my forearms right now. I'm just going to peel myself down and bring my forearm in front. Eventually I'm going to be resting my forehead on that, but for now I'm going to be kind of turning and looking at you so you can see what I'm doing, and then I'll show you the pose in its full effect. So the next thing I want to do is to let this arm relax by my side, just nice and easy. I'm going to bend one leg, and if you think of the shape of that runner stretch that we talked about earlier, it's the same thing, just flipped over on its belly. So what I'm going to do is reach behind now with this hand and hold onto my ankle or to the foot, your choice, and depending on your shoulder flexibility. For now, I'm just going to hold onto my ankle, but there are ways to make it deeper, but I won't address that in this video. So, I'm going to hold onto my ankle, and I'm going to pull not only just to my butt and back of the thigh, but I'm going to go slightly outside the hip. If this bothers your knee, don't do it, and only pull straight back. So always, if you have any knee pain, honor that and make sure you don't push yourself into pain. Stretch is good, pain is not. Alright, so I'm going to pull to the outside, and now I'm going to rest my forehead on my forearm, keeping the back of the neck long. And I'm just going to hold here for several seconds, maybe 10, 15, 20 seconds, until I feel that nice sensation in my quadricep. I can also push the front of this hip into the floor if I need a little bit extra, but you can decide if you need that part or not. Okay, I'm going to come on up. And then of course you would want to stretch both sides. Always important to stretch both sides of the body evenly. So what happens if you can't reach? Very, very common. I work with a lot of people, they're like, hey, I can't reach my leg, Now what? Well, that's where you take your handy dandy strap. I'm gonna open up the strap here. And it can be a little bit tricky. You may need a friend or someone in your family to help you out. You're just gonna take the strap about the middle of it, and I'm gonna reach back, loop it around my foot. Make sure it's kind of along the arch of your foot. If it goes down to your ankle, it's gonna slide all the way down to your knee, and that's not gonna get the job done. So I'm just gonna hold it like this. Let that buckle rest on the floor so it doesn't hit you. And then I'm just gonna give a gentle pull like this and hold. Ta-da! Okay. Again, make sure that you work both sides evenly. What you do to one side, you always want to do to the other side. So we're always working the body evenly on both sides. I hope that you enjoyed that. I thought it was great. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you will like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate your time. Thanks so much. I'll see you next week.